Nice.
Perfect.
All right. I believe let's start. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Hope you are doing okay. My name is Eva Krupanov, and I am a production assistant and event producer at London ACM Siggraph chapter. And for those who doesn't know who we are a non-profit charity organization, and we are all volunteers, and our aim is to promote, inform, and connect the CG community in London and worldwide. If you would like to support us, you can become a member and get early access to our events and discounts to some partnering conferences and events. And that's all about us. And now I hope you are all excited to hear about cinematography and virtual production with Realtime. Our presenters tonight are Habib Zargarpour and Ben Radcliffe. Habib is the head of film development, digital Monarch Media, a division of Unity Technologies. Habib has been nominated for 2 Academy Awards and won the 2 BAFTAs for his work on Vista and The Perfect Storm. During his career, he developed groundbreaking effects, worked with famous studios like ILM, Electronic Arts, and he is currently directing his first feature film, Squadron. At Unity, he develops real-time technologies for film to benefit to virtual production. And he's an amazing person, I would say. Ben Radcliffe will join us a bit later on. He's a media and entertainment technical specialist with 20 years of experience in VFX, CG, feature, and TV animation. And he worked with many famous studios like Disney, DreamWorks, Sony, MPC, and ILM. And at Unity, he works together with key studios to advance the art and science of VFX through the use of real-time technology. So that's all for us. And so Habib, welcome, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Eva. It's a really great honor to be here with you guys and present fun stuff. I make it a point to make every presentation different and a challenge. So I don't know what's going to happen. We're all going to discover together. I usually have some ideas about what I want to shoot and what scenes I want to create. London is a great place I love visiting, and I hope to be able to do so soon. Because, yeah, used to travel quite a bit. And then very honored to have the 2 BAFTAs from the UK, and I'm an active member of BAFTA LA here, and so there's a lot of incredible activities around films here. Normally a lot of great in-person screenings. Now we're doing a lot of streaming. So I'm gonna jump right in and share my screen here. I'm going to optimize for sharing video clips, which means I'm not going to see your video. So if something's up, shout out. I won't be able to see you wave. So let me start sharing here. So I just have a few slides. I'm going to show a quick video and jump right into a real-time demo. I've been part of Unity now. It's been 2 years. We were using digital Monarch Media as a company to create virtual film tools. I always used to say the future of storytelling is real time, and now obviously it's happening in a rapid way. So you can say the present of storytelling. What I want to show you guys is a quick video showing just some highlights. We started back in this whole effort started in 2010 when I was at Microsoft, and I collaborated with Alex McDowell, Joe Letteri, and James Cameron. This was kind of the beginnings of these tools, and we were able to bring them together and do work on the Jungle Book. This is Alex on Order of 7 in 2012, when we realized the power of having these real-time accessibility of the crew to the tools. It's all about communication. So we did Jungle Book live on stage for a year with Jon Favreau. Then Ready Player One was the next project after that. Both of these were with Digital Domain. and using custom plugins into Unity. At the time, I think it was Unity 3.5, and we were changing the rendering to include all the filmic things that we needed. Now with the Unity 2020 and HDRP rendering, we don't really have to do much on the rendering side. Maybe tweaking depth of field and things like that for our tools. I'll be showing you real-time puppeteering today. We're going to animate, puppeteer some characters and some spaceships and shoot it. So the goal is to put together a scene, including set dressing, and shoot it and edit it. That's the goal. All in under 40 minutes. We have a VR mode, which is pretty incredible to experience because you have a different sense of the space you're in. You know, especially directors that want to shoot on a location and they want to basically preview that. This gives you a really great sense of scale. You really feel how far things are, how big things are. And I use VR to do my own prevising of any renovations I'm doing to, you know, if I'm redoing some interiors. It's always fun to see it to scale to know how big things should be. This is collaborative VR, where multiple people can be in the same space and see each other with very basic, you know, iconography. But you can follow each other and you know, guide yourselves to see different things at the same time. And this is the VR UI, where you have the ability to move around. There's a lot of rendering going on. So you have the 3D world that you're in here immersed, and then you have the filming on the tablet. So you control the tablet with your arm, or you can control it with the joysticks remotely if it's a remote rig, and basically film your scenes like that, as though you're in that space, and then you're able to use your arm to film. You can, you know, zoom and focus. The left controller gets used. This is on the Oculus Rift S. Left hand gets used for measuring distances, finding focal points, and, you know, in this case, we're remote operating a dolly to do the shots. So let's jump in and get into the live demo. I have a lot of slides, but we can skip those and come back to them. Wes Potter is my co-founder of Digital Monarch Media. We overlapped on a lot of projects together. And Twister and Perfect Storm were the two awesome BAFTA projects for visual effects. And then this is Siggraph 2019. We were showing HDRP live, you know, with cinematography, different elements, for example, the menus for bookmarking. And things, you know, for me, started back on episode 1, Star Wars episode 1 and Perfect Storm, where we started to do entire scenes and film them. And that's one of the things I'm going to talk about today. So we're going to jump right into Unity. So what I have here is a very basic layout. So I'm going to start with this blank slate over here and some buildings around us. These buildings were free from Kitbash 3D. So I downloaded those, brought them in. You can see the HDRP atmospheric lighting and, you know, really cool volumetrics. I enjoy using it a lot. And the mountainscape that you see back here was created with photogrammetry from an airplane. So I was traveling from Vegas to LA, and this cool mountainscape showed up. And I just simply videotaped it on my Pixel 3 and then ran it through photogrammetry software. And then, so this is the terrain. It's kind of addicting. Not that anybody flies that much these days, but when you do and you see something cool outside the window, you can kind of, it gets addictive because you can basically start scanning a lot of terrain. What I've done is I've added material to this terrain that helps give it some detail, and this is appropriately called the detail map in HDRP. So here we have the detail map input here. So this is basically, if I turn these off, you can see what those things are doing. So that's kind of the raw scan, and then I'm able to give it a lot of detail just by adding this texture. And the texture, you put different, it's got the albedo in the red channel, normal map Y in green, smoothness in blue, and normal map X in alpha. And then you can basically disrupt the different channels, so the channels of color, the normal map, and the smoothness, so how shiny different parts of it are. You just do that to taste. And you can have a ton of these textures to use all around. So let's start doing some set dressing here, and then we can put together a scene. You can see there's a character here waiting. Let me turn this guy off. And then don't need this ship either. Don't think that's used for anything. Yeah, that's okay. So I don't know how familiar you are with Unity, but this is 2019.37. I also have 2020.14 that I've been playing with, having a lot of fun with both of those. I'm going to start with creating a plane. This is going to be a ground plane we're going to use for our character to build a scene. So let's see. I'm going to make this be something we can see down the road here. Just gonna make that long and kind of like a street. Let's see, we're gonna put it here. That's pretty good there. And then, well, we're gonna use this to put our set dressing on. And I have some materials. Let's see, city materials. I'm gonna drop this road material on it. It's basically concrete. It's a concrete base map, and then it has the detail map on it as well. And we want to make sure he can collide with it, so I'm going to just raise it for his feet. Okay, so this is a character we're going to puppeteer, and he's got a he has a collision capsule around him. You can see he runs around with that, and a few scripts to allow me to control him and record him. So then I can apply that to the scene. And I'm going to, I'm not entirely sure what story we're going to shoot today. We'll make something as we go. I'm going to have a side road here, something like that. Maybe move this over a bit. Okay, so we want to do some set dressing. I'm going to use this thing. Ben would be proud of me for for showing this this tool, because let's save the scene. He has he's the one that told me about it. It's called Polybrush, and you can basically use it to paint prefabs onto geometry. So you can also modify the geometry as well. You can give it some details. So these are some prefabs that I have in my palette of things. I have some trees. You basically tell it the scale differentiation and the rotations and all those kind of things that you want. And then what you do is you select the surface you want to paint on, and you see this little circle that tells it like the range that I can paint something in. And what I'll do is actually maybe paint that on the side street. That may be a better way to go. So I'm just going to drop some trees down, and maybe some over here. So start to fill that out, and then you know, these nodes just get dropped into your scene, so you can you know, if you want to modify anything after the fact, you can just grab them and move them. Let's say we want a slightly wider view here, because I'm going to have a spaceship fly down the street. So that's good. Then we're going to do some grass. Let's see. So I'm going to take the trees out. I'm going to put some grass over here. Again, same thing, the prefab, you tell it the range of scales. Maybe I want it to be, some of them to be pretty tall as a random distribution. Let's put some over here. Some in the foreground. Just want to break up those lines on the sides. And maybe even some in the middle. Then I can also pick this guy and put some around the trees. That would be good. Okay, it's got some good details here. You can see we've added a ton of stuff already, and we can just organize it by creating a node. I like to do that. Make sure you zero it out, and then I'm going to bring all of these just to keep it clean. Going to assign those to that parent node down below. So there we go. So we have the plants node that you can also easily toggle on and off to. Bay rate taught me the Alt-Shift-A to toggle things instead of using the checkbox. Quadrupled my efficiency. So back to Polybrush, I'm going to do some rocks. I have a bunch of different rocks. So here's an example of doing like a variation. So I have both of these, and they're going to basically be randomly selected as I'm dropping stuff around. You know, it's going to pick different ones. Maybe one in the middle here. So that it's, you know, you can set the frequency of how often these things pop in. So we're just going to do some more set dressing there. Yeah, maybe back here. Actually, those ones went to waste. They're underground. Don't know where they went. These ones here. Yeah. We'll bring them closer. Okay, so what we're going to do is take maybe this ground. Could use some over here. Just some perspective detail. Okay, so we're good with Polybrush. You can also actually deform stuff. So if I wanted to push some vertices down or up, you know, I can do that with this. Now, of course, I negated what I did with where I put the rocks. So you want to, I guess, do that before you put the rocks on. Otherwise, yeah. So he's gonna actually maybe fall in the ditch. Got to be careful. Maybe bring some of this back up where he's going to be standing. Although he should be able to navigate that, I think. Okay, so that's a lot of fun set dressing here, and you can basically bring any asset in, create a prefab, and drop it into the Polybrush list. It's a really cool plugin. You can do some fine tuning after the fact, like this guy. Probably doesn't want to be on end there. Okay, so let's do now. I have maybe I have some crowd of people up here I can borrow. Put them down underneath. So let's see. Let's bring this over here. Dropping in a party. This is pre-COVID. All right, gonna put them down around here. Maybe like that. And maybe these guys I'll just bring some of them closer. They're partying on their own. This guy can come closer. That one. Okay. Whoops. Okay, so we got a bunch of people having conversations. Some people are stuck in the dirt there. Don't know what they're doing. Okay. So I guess overall they could be just a bit higher, right? Like that. So there's our group of people, and what I'll do is I'll have I'm gonna puppeteer this guy, and then I'm gonna fly some spaceships, and we're gonna film it. So let's go with the puppeteering now. So this is our agent Smith here, and I'm gonna go to timeline. What this script is gonna do is it's gonna automatically drop in whatever mocap I do into timeline for me once I finish the recording. So let's go into play mode, and I'll have my Xbox One controller ready and going to do some puppeteering. All right, so we're in runtime mode now, and I'm going to I can essentially pick a position for my camera to be able to see him and control his motions. Maybe this is a good view. And let's control him now. So you can see I'm actually basically controlling him like I'll be driving a game character. And I'm going to start recording on his animation. So we're going to start recording, and I'm going to have him basically looking around here a little bit, and then he's going to walk out to the street and notice that there's some dangerous activity of these spaceships attacking him, and then he's going to make a run for it and go into the dirt, and we cut there. So this is automatically going to get added to timeline here, and I'm going to assign it to a double of him, basically. So this agent Smith for recording purposes with the script, and then I basically apply the animation to this guy here. So we're just going to drop that in, and you can see he's basically repeating that animation. And by the way, these are Reallusion characters that were created, and very basic one mocap of running that I'm slowing down for walking. So it's super basic, but you could put as high-end the characters you want and as high-end complex animation tree. That's one of the things I'll be trying to do, is flesh that out so we can, get some really cool animations going. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to puppeteer a spaceship, and then we're ready to film. So we have our guy running, and now we need to fly a spaceship to scare him off. And I have my I have a spaceship waiting around that. There it is. This guy's waiting to be recorded. You can see the record script here, and we're going to go into runtime. I'm actually going to use the virtual camera in this case initially to actually fly the ship. Normally I connect it to the virtual camera, but now I'm going to use it to fly the ship. So basically I'm going to offset myself. What I'm doing now is, I don't know if you guys can see the controller here. This is the controller, and then I have an interface that has a tracking device. This could be my Pixel 4, or it could be iPhone 10, it could be iPad. I can connect any of those, and I can connect as many as I want. So you can have like 4 people running spaceships and characters, and then 1 person filming at the same time. Just bring your phone device and hook it up. What I'm going to do to fly the ship, though, is I'm going to anchor myself to it. This is a capability we have within the rig system. So I'm anchored to the ship because I want to now fly it, and I want to know that my orientation is correct and everything. So even after I've anchored, I can still change my camera slightly to center it and things like that. So in the controls here, I'm going to tell it to connect to the prop, which is this spaceship here, and I'll show you guys how that's built once we do the recording. So now I'm using the virtual camera to control the spaceship. You can see whatever I do with the sensor, the spaceship's doing. Now I have two ways to do this. I can either walk around my room, or I can use the virtual joysticks. So both are valid options. So with the virtual joysticks, I'm just going to back up here. Maybe there's the street. I'm just going to offset myself like that. Maybe like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. And what I'm using is what's called a flight rig. So I can also change my elevation. Now the flight rig basically is going to fly the camera rig. So we're kind of using a camera rig idea, but it's going to fly towards wherever I'm pointing. So I can basically fly it like an actual plane. So this is going to be a delicate maneuver I haven't tried before, but let's see. I'm going to try and graze the ground. So first things first, we're going to hit record, and then I'm going to basically, oh, one thing I should make sure is my joystick speed. Yeah, I think my joystick speed is good. But I can change that if I want something faster. Okay, so starting to record, and I'm going to fly forward with the joystick and then fly the ship however I can. Oh God, I'm gonna crash. Okay, I went sideways, hold on. One more time. We're gonna do that again. This time I'm gonna hold the joystick straight. And it's pretty tight turn, so let's try that. By the way, this is something we did on Blade Runner for the spinner animation, one of the shots. We flew the spinner this way, and then the director was able to film inside it. So let's try this, and I'm going to record, do a faster turn. Here we go. Recording and going forward, right down the street. There we go. Through the trees, which we can change later. Okay, so I'll say that's done. Great. So now what we're going to do is, if I stop the playback, that animation is going to get applied to the ship, and we're going to see a track for it here. I'm going to delete this one because we didn't like that one, and we're going to basically put the ship on that track. So this ship goes here. Then what we do is we turn off the script that's controlling it, which is the puppeteering script. And I told you guys I'll show you what that does. So part of exposure, by the way, you get exposure as a package, you import it, and then you get the DMM tab, and you go exposure setup, and you get the filming tools right inside your scene, right here. I guess we did a lot of concrete stuff, didn't we? Let me put those in. I'll put them in plants. That's okay for today. I should just call it set dressing. Okay, so we got these exposure nodes here and a couple of concrete pieces of debris. Okay, so this is the exposure node for filming, exposure.engine. And we have the graphs node system in here. If I open up, for example, the Dolly rig controls, these are, this is called Logos, is the graph system that all the rigs are built in, a lot of exposure. So you can see the track, the lever, the boom, pan tilting, and then the lens model. And you can essentially create any kind of nodes from within Unity or within Exposure and build your own rigs or customize them. So the one for props is a prefab that you just bring in. That's the one for the ship. And it has the name of the object here. So you just drag your object into here, hook it up, and then you have your joystick movement scale. And then this is important. This is what you call it when you connect to it from your phone. So this is the node system for that. But we're going to turn it off because otherwise it's going to try and control the ship if I hit play. And then now we have the animation of our guy. And we have the animation of the ship going right through the trees. And that's why I have an offset node right there. So I'm going to offset this a little over and see as it comes. I can adjust those trees later. And also I want to offset it back. It's a little close to him. So let's do it like that. So this is going to fly in and graze him and fly up. And let's say I want it to even be even more dangerous. I'm going to lower it, cheat that down. So there we go. Now we got to work on timing because obviously he's already, there's no point in running after the ship's already left. And am I hitting any trees here? Not sure. Maybe that guy will have to move. Okay. So now we say timing wise, he's coming down like that. And I'm going to change the timing of that. So let me scrub. So here's the agent animation and there's a spaceship in the timeline. And so as the ship's coming in right there, I want him to start worrying and start running there. So I'm going to basically delay the ship animation to right before he starts turning. So I'm going to delay the ship there. So now he's going to walk around and then he's going to spot the ship and start running, and then the ship's going to graze him. And then I have another ship I'm going to use here. I'm going to borrow that one. This one's just on a straight line. So I love offset nodes because you can just take, anything that's animated and then move it to where you want. So I'm going to move that over there and flip it around. Maybe like this, coming from that direction. I kind of want the source of the ships to be similar. So let's say like that. So that's going to give us some cool secondary action here after this ship's flying, and then we have another one. So that one I'm going to maybe, it's actually kind of a cool height there. And it flies in. I'm going to delay that one. Let's see where that one is. That would be the spaceship animation roll. That's over here. Spaceships. Yeah, so this is, yeah, I'm gonna move that back in time. So here comes, so this one flies over and then the other one shows up maybe a bit later. Like that. Yeah, okay. So we have the action we need. We have 20 minutes to film and light and edit an entire scene. Everybody ready? Here we go. So going into play mode, and we shall remain there until we're done, which is how you get efficiency. So let's see. Here's our scene. Last we left off of my spaceship anchoring, I guess. And let me fly down to the action over here. I'm gonna go full screen. That's not full screen. Oh, I guess, right. I'm on a 4K monitor, so let's keep it here. So let's see. I'm gonna do a introductions to the options here. I hit the menu button. I'm on the Xbox One controller. So first thing you do is set your camera settings. RA65, 16:9. Focus smoothing, I'll let you know what that is, but remember that parameter. And then whether you want to crop mask and whether you want lines or shaded. You can see at the top there, that's a 185 crop. You know, that's up to you what kind of a display crop you want and the opacity for that. Then you pick your lens kit. I'll use standard primes now, but yeah, you can put in your own custom ones or grab some of the ones we've added in. And then we're going to go to the virtual camera options because that's what I'm going to connect to now. So I'm going to go from connecting to prop to the VCam. So magic moment. So now we're connected to the VCam. And what you can see is it's not only taking my direction, but it's also taking my offset. So I'm not using the joystick now. I'm just simply moving the tracking device, which could be your phone or it could be a tablet, Android or iOS. And I'm going to start location scouting and seeing what I want to film. So first of all, I want to establish the city. And maybe before we begin, I'm going to do a really quick staging process. So we got a staging mode here. I'm going to just pick some of the buildings and position them like that, because I don't want to film it and then have to position these, because then my filming can be invalidated based on what we put. Maybe that one can get closer. Or bring this one in. Yeah, that one's better. Okay, so I'm going to bring this one right into that, right next to us. And this guy is really huge. I'm going to bring that next to us. Okay, starting to get cozy. And maybe one more. That guy could come closer. Okay, so we got a good set of buildings going on here. My ship's going to probably fly straight through that, I bet. So let's go back to shooting. So what I want to do is I want to do an introductory shot of the scene. So we want to kind of establish where we are. So we're going to do like a wide lens, and I'm going to use a drone rig. The drone rig does an amazing job of simulating flying a drone remotely and also being very smooth. So let's do, as you can see, I can switch between my lenses pretty quickly using the primes, or I can zoom my lenses up to however I want to work. So I'm going to do a 24, and I'm going to maybe come into the light, maybe, or start in the light and go in the shade. The other way. Okay, I'll start here and go into the, yeah, that's a good massive building. So I'm going to bookmark this. So there's a way for me to come back to this position and time and rig and lens. And I'm going to start creating the shot now, shooting. So we got the nice light coming. And I'm operating the camera head at the same time. So that's a cut there. I'm going to roll back. Hey, look, we got some people down there. Roll back time, because that's important. I don't want the ships to show up in the middle of my shot. Now let's do a cut to the party a little closer here. I'm going to do an orbit shot. So bookmark that and then orbit around. Here we go. Establishing the party. And cut. Now I'm going to get into the way the drone physics works is really cool. Wes wrote the physics for Need for Speed, and he's applied that. You can see I'm moving the drone now, and then if I let go of the controls, this is all drift. You know, it's all physics. So going back to our base camera rig, I'm going to go down to our character here. We're going to establish the party. And I'm going to do a longer lens, and I'm going to drop my T-stop. So we're going to do a little focus. So this is the focus smoothing I was telling you about. If I tap, for example, on the background, and then tap on him, you can see it's doing a gradual focus shift. You can see the focal distance right here and our T-stop. And so you can also hand operate the focus. I can manually focus out and focus in. You can also have 4 people operating the camera at the same time if you want someone to focus, someone to zoom, and someone to operate the dolly. You can spread it out. But it's pretty cool to be able to do a lot of it yourself. Now, one thing you notice, I'm moving in space, and that's because my scale is 11. That's my virtual scale of how much, if I move this controller, if I move the sensor, how much I move in space. So I can reduce that for handheld shots that are supposed to be 1-to-1. So now, you know, if I got up and walked around, it would feel more natural in terms of motion. So let's start out this way. I'm going to bookmark this, and actually, no, I'm going to rewind to bookmark it. And we're going to roll on the 40. So he focused on him and focused on the background. He's kind of moving jerky. You see what I mean about needing some better animation. So now let's start establishing the scene. I'm going to do a dolly shot here. Here's my dolly. I can place it at whatever angle I want. Then I can drop my height, be closer to the ground. Kind of like that. Maybe I should be over on this side because there's those guys happening. But I'll stay on the right side of the line. And it's actually a pretty cool lens. I'm going to focus far and bookmark this. Let's do this shot. So we're waiting for the ship to arrive. It's pretty tight. Oh, there it is. Like, what's going on? Oh, crap. Hey, that was a cool ending shot. Okay, so that was a first stab at it. I'm actually inside the terrain, but that's okay. It's one-sided. And I also crossed his line. I don't know. You guys care about that stuff? Maybe I should be more precise, like this. Maybe down the street. Okay, let's try that. Again, I'm gonna actually go to where I see the ship come. There it is. Bookmarking and rolling again. Take 5. Yeah, I kind of like the low angle. But I gotta be ready to like run with the guy. Oh, I missed him. Okay, this is what bookmarks are for. So we're gonna go to review bookmarks, and these are the ones we've made. You recognize them. So there's the last one, number 6. I'm right back where I started. We can do it again. So I'm gonna go forward a bit. Take 5 as NG, so it'll take 4. I should have a production coordinator taking notes. And cut. Take 6 is good. All right, let's do one where we got maybe a shot from the ship. So I'm gonna go back to base, anchor myself to the ship. Here we go. Roll back. Now notice I still have my virtual camera, so I can actually go back to my options, increase my virtual camera scale, and now I can have a pretty dynamic shot following the ship. We're gonna overlap action on these so I can shoot them, come back and shoot them later. So here we got the ship POV of him. And there we go. I like covering more of the action and then being able to cut it later. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to do a rail camera. It's a sophisticated rig where you can quite in a simple way lay down what you want the rig to do. It's kind of like a dolly, but it has a curve. So let's do that here. I'm going to do a rail, and I'm going to basically say this is my first position there. I'm going to go up, anticipating him running, and I'm going to loop around the trees as the ship goes by, and with the buildings there. So you can see we just drew this curve, and then we have the ability to go around, you know, basically along that curve and it keeps my orientation, so I don't have to worry about breaking my neck looking at the TV or the screen, and then I can operate that at the speed I want. So I'm going to rewind time, and I'm going to look at the curve and bookmark it so I know that's a rail, and we're going to shoot. So here comes, and I can start doing a very slow dolly along that curve. Here comes the ship, and he's going to fly for it, and I just follow the ship. Pretty good, not bad for the first take. So let's jump into maybe last shot, which is going to be a base rig showing. I'm going to do like a long lens version, North by Northwest style, or focus. You can also lock focus. I'm going to lock focus on the ship. Bookmark and roll. All right. Oh, I like how it went out of focus automatically. Okay. Nice. So now I can unlock my focus and we can go into editing mode. So let's go into review. And I'm going to edit and check out my takes. I remember the 4 and 5 were NG, I think, and 6 was good. The rest I'm going to just mark that we want to see them. Here we go, 9 takes. So I'm going to select them all and deselect the NG ones. So let's play that. So here's our intro shot. I'm going to quickly trim these because usually at the beginning of the shot you're kind of getting ready to roll, and then you start rolling. So you always want to trim to the part that you want to keep right there when the shadow's gone. So that's good. This one we're going to start maybe right there and end it here. And then this guy, I don't know how much of the action we want to catch. I guess right to the part where he's like, hey, what's happening? So he's standing here. I'm going to start it actually earlier and then go to the part where he turns. And I'm not going to catch his turning back because we want his attention on the ship. So next up is going to be take 6. So he's already turned, and we're going to start the cut where the ship comes in. And he's like, oh crap, I'm going to run. Maybe up to that point. Although I love that ending there with the 2 going overhead. Might add a shot like that at the end. So here we got the ship coming in right there. We started there and ended here. I'm going to overlap some action, of course, as all action films look to do. And then this is our rail shot. And I'll start it here, doing a lot of overlap cheating here. Right at this whip hands across. It's a short shot. And then my favorite, like I guess we have to kind of start it here. I can't cheat that too much. I'll just start with him in frame, and with that out of frame. Okay, and I do want to add a shot where we just see both ships kind of going out of line. So really quickly, we got 4 minutes to go. Gonna go to one of my bookmarks, maybe that one. No, that one. Okay, and I'm gonna scrub to where the ships go overhead, widen out my lens, and focus on them. And let's see, right there. Oh, there it is. So yeah, I'm gonna catch both of them going overhead, like that from below. So it can be further down like this. He's already out of frame. Okay, so let's start with the cut here and roll. All right, that's our last shot. So going into the takes, we're going to add that shot, and I'm going to trim it. Let's see. So yeah, we started there, and we can end and at the end actually there. Awesome. So we're ready to view our takes. But one more thing, we're gonna relight. I'm gonna go into lighting. And actually I'm gonna come out of lighting and go into shooting because I want to, yeah, I want to basically quickly move the lights. So let's see. This is a good view. So I'm going to go into lighting, and the point of view of the sun is on the lower left. You can see where the sun is. And then I lower the sun till it's in frame. Give us a nice dramatic angle. I don't want shadow or too many things. You can see the shadow of the buildings are quite finicky, so we want light to shine where we are. And I can make the temperature warmer, maybe make it a little brighter, and save that. Okay, so now we got to review takes and select the ones we want. And let's roll. Okay, so now we're playing the whole take, the whole scene, based on the cuts we made. And did the set dressing, did some lighting and puppeteering characters. You could have them be really high-end characters with high-end mocap, doesn't really matter. Or you could do live mocap, actually. He's kind of hesitant there, huh? He's like, I don't know, should I run? Ships going through. Oh, I like that new light. Okay. There it is. 1 minute to go. I'm gonna do a quick tweak. That second to last shot, I'm going to trim that differently. So I'm gonna trim it. So basically we end here and start there. So I'm gonna remove that and end it a little sooner because we wanna cut out of this shot pretty quick right there. Let's see. Yeah, so a little sooner right there. So just changing the trimming a little bit, and then we can go back to viewing everything. Here's our scene. Insert dramatic music. I'm usually ready with some soundtrack. Actually, you know what? In Habib tradition, I'll just pick something here. Let's see. Come on. Looks like I'm out of luck because I switched my music library. Okay, here we go. We're gonna play it without music. But imagine some X-Men music or something. Actually, maybe I can find that. Let's see. Okay, here we go. This might be good. Oh, I know. Here we go. No, actually, what's appropriate would be this one. Is it Mombasa? Yeah, this one. There you have it. All right. That was a ton of fun. I don't know. I hope you guys liked it. We're good for some Q&A.
Yeah, like you have a couple of more minutes because we started a bit later on, so it's up to you. But if you feel
I
like
have
you
more slides to
finished,
show. There's always more to show. So
yeah,
yeah,
like we can
let's do
go on
that.
for like a 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes more, and then yeah, we can
Great.
finish too.
Hey, that's music to my ears. So what I'm gonna do is, this is completely improv, so hopefully it works. I'm going to add, if I can. Did I put it in? Is it here? I'm gonna add some explosions. So I don't have time to add the actual firing of the ships, but I have time to add some explosions. So here's a quick prefab of a cannon fire that I had for another scene, and I'm going to drop it in to the scene to add some action. So let's say these ships are firing and missing. So we're going to put one there, one here, and another one here. Should be along the timeline. And then I have this activation track on the timeline to explode them as they go. So I'm going to need another one for the other two I just made. So this one, I'm going to bring it here. So what you do is you make, you scroll down and you go into the timeline and you say visual effect activation track. And then you just right click and say add visual effect activation clip. And in this case, I have one, and I called it trigger, and I'll show you where that goes. So I'm going to put one down here, kind of staggered explosions. Whoops. Put that here. So now we should have like that one going off, that one going off, lots of explosions going off, and then maybe we don't need a third one there. And then we got this one here. I'm going to do a third one. So activation there, copy that, paste it here. So I'm going to see what the timing's like along the line. So we got the ships coming, and they right away start firing. The guy starts panicking and running. Hey, that worked out pretty good. Okay, and this last one happens there. Okay, that's plenty, maybe too much. We actually don't need one in the same location twice there. So we'll have 1, 2, 3. And then for the hell of it, another one there. Okay, that's fine. So let's adjust. Let's see how that looks in the cut. So I'm going to save that scene. Go into play mode. All our takes and trimming and lighting and set manipulation, all that stuff's going to come in. And then all that stuff can be exported to Maya if you're working that way, or you need to render for a visual effects scene. You know, we're of course pushing visuals at Unity to allow you to do final pixel in engine. There's real-time ray tracing that I'm learning, and so many great features to be able to push your visuals, so you know you can do all digital shots at least in engine. And I've been doing some cool tests with a lot of filming tools. So here we are. Let me fly back. Okay, so let's go to our scene, review takes, and I'm gonna play the takes, see if the explosion timing's good. I don't even know where the explosions are gonna show up in the shots because we're inserting them after the fact. Hopefully we get some happy accidents, right? You can see the timeline jumping around for each take because we did some overlapping action. Whoa, he's like, okay, I better run. We needed some more panicked look on the guy. Nice. Oh, I think that worked out really well. So the timing, I think, is good. And I just need to work on adding some sound effects at some point. But what I'm going to do is really quickly tune the explosion. That's involving the particle visual effects graph. So I'm going to come in here, and under VFX, I have my Canon HZ explosion. So I'm going to open that, and I'm going to want to change the size of those things. So this is the event node that you create, and you put your own name here. I called it trigger. And that's what goes into the timeline to trigger these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try a different size. Let's see. So we have the lifetime of the particles, the position, and size. So I want to make that be, yeah, I'll make that be bigger. So go to 1. Let's see. That's better. And then there's size over lifetime. Also the colors, I'm going to tune those a little really quickly. Not a fan of bright red, bright yellow, so I'm going to just dim that down. These get into HDR colors. That's interesting. Warm that up a bit. Let's see what we got. That's a bit better. We have a heat distortion pass right here. So you can calculate particles and then output it to multiple outputs. So you do the calculation once and then you can benefit from it. In this case, you know, doing the heat distortion to those particles. And then I have size over lifetime. It's going to be, yeah, I guess we'll keep that. We'll keep that between, let's see if I do 1 to 2. See if that's too big or it's going to be good. I want a little brighter color at the start. So let's go with, yeah, we're going to increase that. And then dim these ones. There's also a cool trick for making objects glow. You can change the intensity. I'm going to turn these lower at the end here. Let's see. We're going to do, yeah. So let's see how that looks. Ooh, okay, maybe too hot. That's like on fire. So this one, I'm going to turn it down already. And maybe not so hot over here. Okay, let's try that. Need some warmth still. Okay, so we will do that here. I'll do a little bit of yellow. Maybe more desaturated. Okay, so let's. That's pretty good. It does seem slightly large now. So let's go to 0.7 to 1.2. I think is good. 1.6. That's good. And then it seems like we're mostly getting the beginning of this guy. So I'm going to move these up the line so we get a little more variation. You should be seeing it. That's better. Okay. And actually end it on a dimmer color. This one too. All right, so you get the idea. We're going to tune these. Let's see them in action. And you can create a lot of different nodes and do your own math. I kind of feel at home like when I used to do particles on Maya or Dynamation and create your own graphs for those things. All right, let's play that to music. There we go. I keep tuning that explosion, of course, forever, but liking the colors better now.
It looks amazing, Habib.
So that was a lot of fun. So yeah, we can. I have a video I can show behind me while we're doing Q&A.
Yeah.
That's just showing some highlights, and that would be fun.
Lovely.
Let's see, is it this one? Yeah, this is the one. All right.
Thank you very
Take it
much,
away.
Habib.
Thank
Meantime,
you.
I think we've seen something amazing, honestly. I mean, like 1 hour gone, and we have a full scene done, everything, action there, feeling there. It just looks amazing. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you.
For everyone else, yeah, sorry, for everyone else, if you have any questions, just please start to shoot in the chat now, please. All right?
Yes.
So let's see. One of the questions was before. Give me a second. Somebody was asking, will you share the setup for the controller rig with us?
The setup for the controller, you mean that's part of what the exposure tools do, is they just take the controller input and then they're able to you know, generate what we're doing. But it's very simple. For example, you know, just like a first-person shooter, you have motion and rotation on the joysticks, and then we assign different buttons for certain actions. So you have the lens, the focus, the T-stop, and the rig. So it takes just a very quick amount of time to learn those things. And then the screen of this has thumb-based UI. So you actually don't need to use a controller. You can completely use your phone. There's virtual joysticks, and then you can use your thumbs to do zooming or focusing, or use, you know, do actual takes. So that's for people that are on the run, you know, and they don't want to carry a lot of equipment. So you just need your laptop, a little mini router, and a phone.
Lovely. Somebody is asking, what's your favorite project?
My favorite project so far would be Blade Runner 2049. There might be some cuts of it at the end of this video, but basically, you know, I was able to work with John Nelson, the visual effects supervisor, and Denis Villeneuve, the director, on the visual effects side, but we also got to use some virtual production tools and use some of the exposure tools to for Denis to re-visualize some of the shots when we were in post. So he was able to get exactly what he wanted for those shots, and you know, that was it was rewarding, because also I'm the original film was my favorite film of all time. So great to work on the sequel.
Nice, sounds great. Then you're asking, are you using custom scripts for DMX, lighting integration, or some of the plugins? If the later, which ones have you found work well so far?
So we have stages in Vancouver where we test different kinds of equipment. So there's like mocap stage, there's VR, there's DMX lighting, there's voice recording, facial, mocap, all the different things you'd want to mix. Wes Potter's leading that effort, and John Wheeler, our lead developer, and they were basically the goal is to make sure everything works together, because a lot of times something might work by itself in one place, but then when you combine them, then you don't get the results you were expecting. So for example, if you try and use a Vive tracker on a mocap stage, you're going to be in for a surprise. So there's, you know, there's a lot of R&D going on for different things like that. And then the DMX lighting is a pretty cool one. But I don't have any specifics on the versions or types. At least not yet. Hopefully soon we can have some more info.
Great.
I see Ben's joined. Hey, Ben.
Yeah, Ben is here. I don't know if he
You
wanna
missed the
join
polybrush
properly.
part, man.
So that's what.
Hopefully I made you proud. Yeah.
Great. Mira asking, what are some cool application and programs of AI you've seen in VFX?
Oh, wow. Those are coming fast and steady. There's a lot of, we're part of the labs team at Unity with Silvio Duran running that group. And there's a lot of AI research, a lot of AI R&D. So we're always looking internally to see what are the cool things that we can grab. What I'm excited about is in general in the world, for AI to take care of the mundane stuff that I don't like to do repetitively over and over. And I'm excited about photogrammetry, scanning, and model simplification. There's a lot of R&D on like things that recognize, objects based on scanning. So they identify, yeah, like that's a sofa, and then they're able to do what they need to do with it. And then there's AI around facial capture, facial animation. Those are tough subjects, but I think we're gonna need a lot of these tools for asset ingestion. Like this stuff I showed you, having that mountain from photogrammetry and all the assets I was able to just grab from CG Trader or TurboSquid or Kitbash is that's what really helps push productions really quickly into visualization phase, and then refining it for the actual productions. So it's so I know that there's fear factor for anything new that can we always think we're gonna all be replaced by AI or by some algorithm, but at the end of the day, I think every innovation has only allowed artists to do more, to do them faster, and be able to apply their skills. At the end of the day, so that's where I'm hoping things are going.
Sounds great. Danny is asking back, are there any efforts to standardize some of the common protocols to integrate within VP?
Integrate what? Sorry.
Within VP.
The beginning of the question?
So are there any efforts to standardize some of the common protocols to integrate within
right. Yes.
VP?
Yes, I think, especially virtual production on LED stages and simulcam tracking. You have Incam as a company that does the camera tracking. You have Mosys, you have Red Spy from Stipe, and I believe they've managed to standardize some protocol called the FREED, F-R-E-E-D protocol for camera tracking, so that it'd be simpler to implement using those tools, so you don't have to have something proprietary for each one. I think those kind of things are great to have. But one of the things I always wanted to do is standardize 3D camera movement, and that's one of the things I like about using Unity. It's got the same camera movements as Maya, so I don't have to relearn those kind of things. And I think we're mature enough as an industry that those things should be standardized, and that's one of the efforts I like doing as part of the VES as well, to the Visual Effects Society, to help push things so that basic things should be constant, should be something standardized. For example, when you drive a car, the right pedal is gas, the left one's brakes, and it would be not good to mix those, randomly. So yeah, those are things I think as the industry evolves, there's efforts in USD, the Pixar's Universal Scene Description is great. Unity supports those things. Those all help the artists, Same thing with Material X or other efforts to standardize materials. So I think people want compatibility between packages, so they can jump in and out of different tools and be able to bring their scenes in and run them in virtual production.
That's great. Thank you. Zach asking, what percentage of productions in the last year are not utilizing virtual production techniques?
Great question. Right now, the industry as a whole, because of COVID, it's been put on hold. And then a lot of projects I've been involved with are now almost entirely virtual production, from the planning phase to design to construction to do production design on entire locations. So I think that percentage definitely increased in the last 6 months, and my prediction is it's going to keep continuing to increase, where some of those tools are going to become standard on set, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. It looks like for the moment.
Yeah, you're going to want your set extensions. You want to be able to see your set extensions. You want to be, the actors want to be able to see what they're reacting to, and then those things, and planning your whole film beforehand, those are becoming a lot easier to do with the real-time engines.
Nice. It's a new word in it.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Matt asking, is there a true 3D 360 camera rig in this package, not a 6-camera one?
True 360?
Yes, I'm not sure what he's meaning with it. Matt, would you like to ask yourself? Yeah.
Sure, yeah. One thing, I've seen a lot of virtual production tools being developed for Unity and Unreal, but a lot of them are based around the regular rectilinear projection camera. And if you wanted to get a VR, let's say, equi output from those, you have to strap 6 cameras, virtual ones, to each other to get all of those views and pass that out as like a cube map or whatever you would do the conversion with. I was just wondering if you guys have added a 360 camera, like a true one, not one that if you passed it close to, say, an object or something, that you get clipping on the corners where those camera edges meet.
I worked on some VR projects where we were outputting 360 with the help of some special software, and I'm trying to remember now if that was if that's still applicable to HDRP, the new rendering pipeline. But I know what you're talking about. That we were able to output full 360 and have it be YouTube VR ready, so you could experience it. Yeah. And then the interesting thing is going to be like live streaming that. That would be pretty cool.
Definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, shooting in VR is really interesting. If we had more time, I could probably jump into it.
Okay.
Got the device right here.
Cheers.
Yeah, good question. Good question.
Great. One more questions. You use Mistaka VR, Matt. It's more for Matt. Sorry. Does anyone has
Hi,
any
Danny.
more?
Yeah. Hi, Danny.
Yeah. Sorry, it was more for you a question, like what you're using. Great.
Sure.
Anyone else has any questions for Habib by any chance? Please just.
I'm going to post something in the chat, which we just finished recently. It's a Chanel commercial.
Oh, great.
It's fun. It was a really intense project, but the story I like telling is that we, at the time I was using my laptop to render those environments, and we were getting, pretty insane scans of the different parts of those cities. And at one point, I had a lot of fog in LA. I couldn't really see too far out, but I started to show somebody how big the city was because I had all of downtown and the full rest of LA in there. And it ended up that I actually had 800 miles of geometry all the way to Baja Sur, in Mexico, and you could see the curvature of the Earth in that model. And it was all running on the laptop. So that was interesting discovery of how much we can throw at these engines, and they can can handle it. You know, layer upon layer of geometry to build those scenes. So since then, I'm not that hesitant to add stuff to my scenes. It can take quite a lot. Pretty intense.
Lovely. The last questions are popping up before we finish. Danny asking, based on that what you said, that virtual productions are popping up in the last 6 months, what are the most desired skill sets which the industry is currently seeking within virtual productions?
Great question. Yes, this question comes up a lot from a lot of facilities that are ramping up on virtual production, and you know, a lot of hiring in those areas. And what you want to have is, you know, someone who works on virtual production actually has quite a variety of skills, and it's a really interesting multi-dimensional thing. So you need to have knowledge of the game engines. If you're using, you know, Unity is something you can ramp up to pretty quickly. There's the knowledge of green screen compositing. There's knowledge of camera tracking, knowledge of lenses, basic cinematography, and now we're having the knowledge of LED screens that you need. You know, running those kinds of tests. But at the end of the day, you're building environments virtually in Engine. So you want to have familiarity with what it takes to put the assets into an engine. How is that different from visual effects if that's the world you're used to? It used to be quite different when you had assets between, it was, you know, significant difference between assets that were in Engine versus for visual effects, but that gap's gotten a lot narrower. So you have a lot of people, you know, you can bring in amazingly intense high-res assets. The spaceship model I showed you is a film model. It's, you know, millions and millions of polygons and nodes, and I didn't bother to pare it down, and I have 3 other spaceships in that same scene that we didn't even look at actually on the other side. But you know, it's really good to get that knowledge of how far can you push the engines and what it takes to get the content in. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm muted. Habib, thank you very much. I believe that's for today. Honestly, thank you for this amazing presentation. I believe we learned a lot about real time. And
thanks everybody for watching. And if you want to give the tools a shot, reach out to me, Habib at Unity 3D. And you know, we work with a lot of indie directors and people that are trying to get their projects off the ground, and you know, we get feedback from them. So it's really fun times to use these tools, and I really enjoyed doing the demo for you guys today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Habib. That was really great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ben, do you want to say anything since you're here, just before we wrap up?
Hi, no, thank you, Habib, for you know, taking the time.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I always like spending time with Habib, even virtually.
All right.
Great.
Sounds
All
great.
right. Well, there's another session coming up, right? We have another event.
Yeah, we'll do some XR stuff next month, and
yeah, it's on the
shameless
26th
plug.
of
I'm going to do
November.
some visual scripting stuff with the VES too, so everyone follow my Twitter and stuff. And yeah, I'm trying to do as much stuff as possible while people are working from home.
Yeah, our next event is on Eventbrite, so you can register for that if you would like to join us again.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank
you very much. Have a great night.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.